This video will explain the final element required to prove a case of passing off. As established in Conagra and McCain Foods Proprietary Limited, the third element of passing off requires that the plaintiff suffers or is likely to suffer damage by reason of an incorrect belief resulting from the defendant's misrepresentation that the source of their goods is the same as the source of the plaintiff's goods. There is no requirement that actual damage be shown. Only a likelihood of damage, that is, a real and tangible risk of damage, is sufficient. This was established in Henderson and Radio Corporation Proprietary Limited. Now let's have a look at a few examples of the types of damage that will satisfy this cause of action. First is the loss of sales or existing trade. This is one of the most common forms of damage where the misrepresentation diverts trade away from the plaintiff and towards the defendant. This was seen in the case of Racket and Coleman Products Limited and Borden Incorporation, where Lord Oliver found that if Borden, the defendant, were allowed to sell their products in the shape of a lemon, then that misrepresentation would divert sales away from Racket and towards Borden, resulting in certain financial damage. Second is the damage to the reputation. This arises where the defendant's misrepresentation leads the public to believe that the goods or services of the claimant and the defendant are somewhat related. An example of the way reputation may be damaged is offered by associated newspapers and insert media. The claimant in this case was the publisher of two national newspapers, and the defendant arranged with retail news agents to have advertising materials inserted into the papers. This was done without the publisher's knowledge. The Court of Appeal held that since there was a real risk that the publisher would be thought to be responsible for the accuracy and honesty of the inserts, there was an obvious risk of loss of goodwill and reputation by the publisher. Third is the loss of opportunity to expand the business. In Lego System and Lego Lemelstrich, an Israeli company was marketing gardening tools under the brand name Lego. The court found that the Lego's reputation extended beyond toys and was a household word. It was also established that no intention to extend to gardening tools was necessary. So even though there was no intention to expand at this time, Lego might want to extend to gardening tools in the future. Fourth is the loss of potential to exploit their goodwill in the future. This type of damage was claimed in Henderson and Radio Corporation Proprietary Limited, where it was alleged that the wrongful acts of the defendant are likely to affect the plaintiff's capacity to earn fees from enabling the reputation to be used in connection with commercial products. The court found that misrepresentation had caused the requisite damage. This was found on the basis that the wrongful appropriation of another's professional or business reputation is an injury in itself. Lastly, it is worth noting that generally damage will flow from proof of the first two elements. However, failure to prove actual damage or the likelihood of actual damage is fatal to the plaintiff's claim.
Created using Powtoon.